morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is J.R. Moore coming to you live from deep in the mountains of the Missouri Ozarks on Thursday, the 8th day of August, year of Lord 2019. Welcome to the John Moore Show. We begin our shows with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Purpose tip of the day, we're going to have open lines. We'll talk about this a little more. We'll encourage all of you to stock up on barter items. A couple of beginning points would be candles and reusable canning lids. Most people don't know there is such a thing as reusable canning lids. They've been around for decades. I've got a fairly good supply, a couple hundred or more myself. They would be quite valuable in a long-term survival, societal collapse type situation. Of course they would. Candles. There are some specialty candles that you can get out there that have 3 wicks in them that burn a long time. Also at your local Catholic supply store, they have these candles that burn. I believe they're 24-hour candles. They come in a glass jar. They're about 10 inches tall or so, maybe 2.5 inches in diameter. And my recollection is they burn for 24 hours. Things like this, you need to get in case lots. Quite frankly, you're going to get a better price if you buy items like most of these barter items in case lots. Things that are commonly available and very inexpensive now. Things that people need every day. Say, for example, trash bags. We take them for granted now. They're cheap. They're readily available. During a crisis, well, they won't be. People are still going to need them. That'd be the kind of thing to look at eBay for case lots of trash bags, catch them on sale, things like that. Just pay attention and get the best bargains you can. Common, and I mention this every once in a while, common personal hygiene items. Soap, for example. Now, yes, it's possible for soap, and if the crisis lasts long enough, you'll find homemade soap available for sale after maybe a month or two. In the meantime, factory-made soap will have a recognized value and have a higher barter value than homemade soap. Most likely it will. Of course, we've been using homemade soap here made locally for years, and it is excellent soap. Toilet paper. Now that's pretty routine stuff. I told some friends recently, some of my male friends, I said, gentlemen, you really don't want to occupy the same space with women who do not have toilet paper. That would not be wise. And they kind of chuckled, and they recognized immediately how true that statement is. Now, the best value I found for toilet paper is these very large 1-foot diameter rolls that they have in public restrooms. Buy those by the case. I routinely do that at Amazon.com. From where I live to Steelville, Missouri is 17 miles. I've got enough toilet paper to go to Steelville and part way back. Most of the way back. Talk about a great barter item. Yeah, absolutely a great barter item. Anything that babies would need. Reusable diapers will once again be something people will want and need. Disposable diapers. The number of disposable diapers that one child goes through is just phenomenal. Reusable diapers obviously can be reused. They can be rinsed out and washed. That's what we used for my daughter 45 years ago. And if you want something that will have extreme value, it's a large, heavy item, but would have a lot of value for a family, would be a Maytag rear washer that's already been modified to run from a bicycle. Now, there's something that a family would cherish and relish and be ready to barter something very valuable to own a Maytag rear washer that runs on a bicycle. Now, it's simple mechanical skills that many men and their home workshops have all the skills and tools necessary to modify a Maytag rear washer to run on a bicycle, to run with a bicycle power. There's YouTube videos on how to do that, and once you had one of those, or no reason why you couldn't have 5 or 6, quite frankly, you've got some extremely valuable barter items that would be highly sought after within your community. Food, obviously, you need to be careful with food, and any of these items, quite frankly, depending on the crisis and how secure your place is, how many men and women you've got that are armed. If once word gets out that you have a stock of food, you'll become a target. And rumors take on a life of their own. They do. And you don't have any control over that. Of course, you can feed rumors. You can feed out into the community rumors that make you and your group appear to be stronger than what it is. That would be a good rumor. That you don't have as many supplies as people might think, that would be another good rumor. And so forth. Use your imagination. Use your imagination. And I should mention the call number is 800-313-9443. I mentioned salt frequently. Regular iodized table salt as a great barter item. It may be the best, especially if you live 100 miles or farther away from one of the oceans. If you live near an ocean, you can get your own sea salt pretty quickly. But iodized table salt is right now you can buy in large bags, 20, 25-pound bags, very cheaply. Insects won't bother it. Cold doesn't bother it. Heat doesn't bother it. If it gets wet, you just dry it out. And, at the moment, thieves aren't going to want to steal it because it just, why would they steal something that has almost no value? But keep in mind the following. This is a true statement. Human beings cannot live without salt. I say again, human beings cannot live without salt. So that's how important it is. I've got about a quarter ton of iodized salt stored up. That would be 500 pounds. Now, when it comes to barter, I would probably barter that in pint jars or quart jars, so people would know exactly what they're getting, and be able to help the community and be able to help myself to get some items maybe that I don't have, possibly some fresh tomatoes, for example, or maybe a freshly killed squirrel, something of that nature. A barter economy can only exist when there's enough civility to go to a place where trading takes place and people are making deals and treating things of equal value back and forth. Like I said, there has to be a level of civility for that to happen. Now, in Bosnia, when the unpleasantness was going on, you couldn't go out in the daytime. You would be a victim of a sniper if you stepped outside in the daytime. I don't know all the dynamics about why people were randomly murdering other people by sniping. I do know it was taking place. So there's different levels of civility, aren't there, or lack thereof. If you have to hunker down and just stay inside, well, that's what you need to do. Medicine, anti-diarrhea medicine, would be extremely, I say again, extremely valuable. You're going to want medicine that helps stop diarrhea, that has a very long shelf life. I'm not sure what that is. I haven't looked into it, quite frankly. Chances are it won't go bad. Most likely it would just lose potency. That's true of most over-the-counter items. We did some research in antibiotics a few years ago and found that antibiotics don't necessarily turn into poison. We've been hearing that for years, but that does not necessarily happen. You need to do your own homework, do your own research on that. Now, keep in mind the oils, the essential oils, the terra essential oils. There's a number of them that have antibacterial properties, and we know for a fact, because it's been well known for centuries, that the essential oils properly stored have no expiration date. They just simply don't. They will last for millennium, thousands of years. We know that to be true. The time to be stocking up barter items is now. Toilet paper is cheap, readily available. Salt is cheap, readily available. The reusable canning lids, readily available. I don't have a source at my fingertips, but you can find them easily enough, probably on eBay or Amazon or both, and so forth. Cigarette lighters, tobacco products. Now, there's places that specialize in inexpensive tobacco products, for example. Talk to the owner and see what kind of deal you can cut if you buy a case of the least expensive cigarettes. Because a person with a tobacco addiction, ultimately, they won't care. Of course, they want their preferred brand. And there's dozens and dozens of brands, and within each brand, there's many varieties within a brand, on one hand. On the other, a tobacco addict, when it comes down to it, they will take whatever tobacco they can get their hands on. So why go ahead and get the least expensive? And you may want to package it up in two different ways. I would vacuum pack full cartons of cigarettes using 2 or maybe even 3. We get about a 5% failure rate on these vacuum sealed bags, by the way. If it's really valuable, and a carton of cigarettes would have extreme value, you may want to go ahead and do a triple bag. And I would also vacuum pack single packs of cigarettes the same way, triple pack them in 3 separate vacuum sealed bags. We got a caller and holder. We got Al in West Virginia. Good morning, Al.
Morning, John. Hey, for people that smoke tobacco, a great alternative, and you can drink it too, which is fairly healthy for you, is tea, green tea. I've smoked many cigarettes out of tea, and it pretty much quenches your craving for tobacco when you don't have tobacco.
Right.
And it's not as harmful, I don't think. And on that diarrhea thing, this is a great thing that I keep around. I think everybody should have in their house is activated charcoal. And you just put it, stir it up in some water, like a teaspoon in a glass of water, and it'll pretty much take care of the diarrhea. Plus, if you have any other poisons in there, it'll absorb it and flush it out of your body. If somebody gets poisoned by a snake or anything like that, activated charcoal is a great thing like that, or a spider. Anything.
Al,
anything.
The activated charcoal, is it a powder consistency?
It's very fine powder, so you don't want to breathe into it, but boy, it'll blow all over the place. So what you want to do is put your water in your cup first, and then put it in there real easy like, and stir it up real good.
Sounds like a plan. Have you done this yourself?
Oh, I do it all. I've had it for years. I'm a firm believer in it, and whenever my kids or anybody, we had sicknesses or anything that might be stomach related, like some kind of a bacteria or something, just like a regular stomach flu or whatever, or diarrhea, it will definitely stop the diarrhea. Now, you don't want to do too much of it. You don't want to do it 2 or 3 times a day. Start out with 1 teaspoon in a glass of water and see how that works. And maybe if you have to do it the next day, do it again, because it'll stop you up. It'll stop the diarrhea.
Right.
Right.
Well, it sounds like a plan. Of course, there's no expiration date on activated charcoal. It would last indefinitely, wouldn't it?
Right. And if you did get into a point where you didn't have any, you can make it yourself, with the charred wood like you would in a campfire or wherever,
Uh-huh.
and you break it up with a hammer and powderize it. Just turn it into powder, and you can do that too. I don't know if there's certain types of wood you shouldn't use. I'm not real familiar with that. I always used oak, so I don't know.
Right.
But, yeah. All right, that's all I got for you, John.
Okay, Al. Appreciate the call. The call number is
Right.
800-313-9443. Well, I've been aware of activated charcoal for that usage for probably 20-plus years. I've never personally done it, but it does. The activated charcoal does have a track record of being effective for diarrhea, so that's not really a secret. These barter items, you need to look at your situation, what you think would be useful in your community, what would be valuable in your community, and go ahead and get those items and store them up. Alcohol. Well, people with an alcohol addiction, once again, they want access to their drug of choice, which is alcohol, and inexpensive whiskey. I've been thinking about this morning. The best way would probably, if you could buy it in barrels, buy a 20-gallon barrel. I'm not sure what it would take to do that. It sounds like something that would be difficult, but I don't know. Large bottles of inexpensive whiskey could be sold in smaller containers. Obviously, you're going to get your largest amount of whiskey for the least amount of money when you buy a 1-gallon jug. Clearly, obviously, you will. But the point being, people with an alcohol addiction will do what they need to do to get access to their drug of choice. Here's our break. Call number is 800-313-9443.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 8th of August. We're going on a cruise. It'll be a lot of fun. If your significant other can go with you, it'll be romantic, too. Valentine's Day is right in the middle of the cruise. Details at my website at thelibertyman.com. If you don't have internet access, give Betsy Murphy, our cruise director, a call at 636-530-9502. Got a caller on hold here. We got Dan Sutterfield. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, John. How you doing, buddy?
Really good. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, I wanted to, I think you already did it. I wanted to support that gentleman that called in about the activated charcoal. That is absolutely amazing stuff. And evidently, John, and you probably know this, evidently that's a stock item in all emergency rooms across the country, in the hospitals.
Right. Well, they don't use it for diarrhea. They use it for poisoning is what they use it for.
Right. Well, you could end up with that too, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've always, I know it, excuse me, I know it's called activated. I always called it food grade charcoal. But anyway,
right.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and it's not very expensive. But boy, if you get a little puff of air on it, it'll make a cloud. It is really fine. I wanted to add a couple more items to your list there. One is Crisco candles. Have you ever heard of that? Making a candle out of a can of Crisco?
I have not, but go ahead.
It works great. You just get a tub of Crisco, any size, and push a hole down through the middle of it with a small stick or whatever, and then braid you up a wick. Not of synthetic material, ideally. It would be something like cotton or jute. And push that wick down in there, and you've got a candle that'll last many, many hours, if not days, depending on how big the tub is. John, have you ever heard the history of Crisco?
I think I'm about to. I have not yet.
Okay.
What is it?
Well, it was a substitute engineered and made during World War II because of the lack of petroleum products. They used it to grease industrial parts so they wouldn't rust. You know, like after a casting gets milled off, it'll start to rust immediately.
Right.
So they would take this goop that they made out of hydrogenated vegetable oil, and they would smear it on the surface that had just been milled off. And then after the war, they had this technology figured out, and they thought, I bet we can sell it to people for food. And it is not healthy to eat. I hope everybody realizes. I mean, I grew up eating it. Anything that was fried, you had two choices, Crisco or lard.
Right.
And a lot of people use Crisco, but it's not worth eating. It's not good for your body.
Right. Well, here's on eBay, 55 pounds of activated charcoal, $357.99 delivered.
$350 for 50. That's about $6 a pound.
I didn't do the math, but that's about right.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I bought it in these metal cans like juice comes in, the big metal can.
Right.
I don't know how much that is, ounce-wise, but it's pretty reasonable.
All right.
And one last item on my list, at least, it's learn how to sharpen everything. if you've got a workshop and you're boring holes in wood for various needs, you're going to need a file to sharpen those auger bits.
Well, you'd probably be wise to have a hand auger then, the old-fashioned way, right?
Absolutely, the original cordless drill.
Right, and that would be another good barter item. You can get those antique hand augers and the Brayson bit is what they're called.
Yes, it
Very
is.
cheap because there's a lot more. There's literally tens of thousands of these all over the country, and hardly anybody wants them now. But during a crisis, a long-term crisis, they would be quite valuable, wouldn't they?
Yeah. And they've got another type of drill. I called it an egg beater. There's probably a name for it. But it's a drill that would hold a twist. It's not a drill. It's a device that would hold a twist drill so you could drill holes in metal.
Right.
And that's a slow, laborious process, but how else are you going to get a hole in a piece of metal? You've got to have a twist drill. And if you've got a twist drill, you're going to need to sharpen that occasionally.
Exactly.
As anybody that's got a set knows, they get dull. And usually people go out and buy a new set. Well, they can very easily be sharpened. You just have to know how to do it. So you need a little grinding wheel that one person would crank the handle and the other person would stand there knowing what they're doing, of course, and very carefully sharpen that twist drill so you can get on with the project.
Or that little grinder could be set up to run on a bicycle also, couldn't it?
It sure could, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Real good.
Can we plug the front site deal we're doing for
The
RBN?
fundraiser
right?
for Republic Broadcasting, we do that. Let's do that. We got a break coming up here in less than a minute. Go get started.
Okay. Well, Mr. Statmiller.
Here's the break. Sorry. Hold
That's
on
all
after
right.
the break.
Here.
Plug it after the break. Stay tuned, everybody.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the energy cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get to get an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an energy cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Thursday. It's Thursday, the 8th of June. Well, before we get started with my friend Tom Berryhill, let's get that quick plug in here for Republic Broadcasting fundraiser. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, John. Right now, if doggone it, if people are interested about all this preparation stuff, and obviously they are, they wouldn't be listening to RBN, and especially you. Realize, or hopefully they realize that if they can't protect all the stuff that they've gathered up, somebody's going to take it from them. I hate to even think about the situation, but it's going to get ugly if all this comes to fruition. So what that amounts to is they really need to know how to protect it. And, against our fellow human beings, it's a sad thing to say, but we might have to learn how to shoot. and really be good at it if you want to end up on top of this game? Well, one of the best ways to do that is to get trained. And just because you can make it go bang doesn't mean you're going to operate efficiently and effectively whenever the stress levels are through the roof. So professional training is the way to do that, in my estimation. You concur with that, John? Absolutely, yes. Okay, so what we're offering is and John Stapmiller really sweetened the deal the other day. He's offered, and I'm supporting that totally. I'm the one with the memberships to pass on. A husband and wife team only, just a husband and wife, not two guys or two gals. Boy, we're getting deep there, aren't we? A complete lifetime membership with Front Sight Firearms Training Facility, both of them, for $500. It doesn't get any sweeter than that unless we just give them away for free, and I'm sure not doing that. So anyway, if anybody's interested in getting a lifetime's worth of training, go as many times as you want, as often as you want for the rest of your life. Both of you, husband and wife team, can get that lifetime deal for a total of $500. And it just doesn't get any better than that. Anyway, if you're interested in that, look up Front Sight on the Internet, see what we're talking about. It's a Commander lifetime membership. And if you're interested in that, RBN could sure use the money, and most people could sure use the training. Get a hold of me, Dan Sutterfield. My phone number is 573-465-2356, and we'll walk you through on what you need to do to get that. And okay, Dan. You really need to consider it, folks. Sounds good. We appreciate the call. Thank you, sir. Thank you, John. Okay. Well, next we go to Tom Berryhill, and we're going to talk about the energy cleaner for a few minutes here. Good morning, Tom.
Morning, John. How are you today?
Well, really good. It's we're having some seasonal weather here, so except for the rain. Typically, this is a dry part of the year, but my driveways, I had them both bladed real nice, and they both completely washed out day before yesterday. But
that's what happens.
It's a big so what. Well, Tom, would you start with giving us our disclaimer, please, sir?
Yes, sir. We are not doctors or medical professionals. We don't diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease. The information discussed today is for your education and entertainment only. If you have a medical condition requiring treatment, you should utilize the services of a medical doctor, chiropractor, or other competent practitioner. All right.
Well, Tom, I was talking to a gentleman yesterday. He said he's had back surgery. He's had continuous back pain prior to getting himself an energy cleaner, and now he's got his life back. He's not taking the pain meds anymore. His back doesn't hurt anymore. He says, John, I tell everybody I know about the energy cleaner. So the point being, I would say half or more of my sales right now are referrals from people already using energy cleaners. And the word of mouth is the best advertising, isn't it, Tom?
Oh, it really is, and I've noticed the same thing, John, over the years. You'll hear from somebody that has a friend, a family member, a neighbor that has an energy cleaner. They've seen the dramatic improvement in their lives and the elimination of pain issues and so on. And these people want to get a unit just like what their neighbor or friend has. And they sometimes don't even know what it's called. They just want that same unit that their friend keeps carrying around and raving about how it's helped so much. So we help them get all set up. It's amazing, but that's exactly how it happens. Word of mouth. It's slow, but it's the best.
It is. Yeah. So every week we talk to people who've been listening for years. Every week we have brand new listeners. Never heard Tom Berryhill, never heard John Moore on a Thursday talking about the energy cleaner. So we have to start fresh every week, and here we go. The energy cleaner is a electronic healing device. It puts out a electrostatic signal. That electrostatic signal that goes to every cell in your body, flushing out toxins, bringing in fresh nutrition. It is not a rifle machine frequency generator. It is not a TENS unit. This is entirely different technology. There are some copycats out there. Be aware, this is the original. Tom Berryhill worked with the inventor of the energy cleaner to build the energy cleaner to the exact specifications of the inventor, Mr. Lee Kroc. And that's what he's been doing now for about 20 years now, I believe, Tom, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The first units were made in March of 2000, so that's how long it's been, quite a while.
Okay. Well, we're right at 20 years, and shipping these things all over the planet, helping people get their lives back all over the planet. And it's simple. It's a box, a black plastic box about the size of a cigar box. It takes 9 D as in Delta, 9 D-cell batteries, no on-off switch, no gauges, no dials, simply one LED light that alternately flashes red or green, telling you two things. First of all, it's working. Second of all, it's changing polarity. Then there's one place to plug in one wire. That wire ideally would be part of the energy cleaner pads that I sell to fit on your bed. We have the twin size, full, queen, king, California king, the handy travel size. And all you do is put the mattress pad on the bed, plug it in the energy cleaner, and go to sleep every night like you normally would. Nothing could be simpler, could it, Tom?
No, John, it's so simple to use, and we made it that way. We had a broad-based approach to this so that people didn't have to worry about dials and settings and digital readouts. They just had to plug the pad into the machine, and you can slide the energy cleaner underneath the bed if you want to leave it connected permanently. Just put it under your bed. Make sure you check it at least on an annual basis. You want to make sure that there's no battery leakage, and that can happen with any electronic device. So we always say change the batteries once a year. It will run longer than that, but change the batteries once a year to be sure. And it'll just run round the clock, 24/7. You don't have to think about it. Just when you go to bed, you'll start getting the benefit of sleeping on that pad. It's very, very simple.
Absolutely. It could not be simpler, and that's by design. Before I was selling the mattress pads, we were asking people to make their own pad out of aluminum screen wire, and even that was too much for many people. So now we've made it. I don't know how, the only way it could be more simpler would be for me to come to their house and put the mattress pad on myself. We've done everything we can, haven't we, Tom?
Yeah, we really have, and there's been times where I did install a system for somebody that had so much pain issues, John, that they really couldn't even fumble around with the wire, or couldn't even plug it in, could not hold the wire securely enough to plug it into the energy cleaner. So I actually went and set the thing up for them, and they were very happy about that. Now having some very good results. So that's what we do.
It is. It is. Now, people want to study up on this and before they make a decision, and I want you to study up on it at my website at thelibertyman.com. You can read the patent application information. You can read the testimonials from people like our friend Steve Whitman. You can just learn what there is to learn right there at my website at thelibertyman.com. And you can also place your order right there also using PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, for the energy cleaner and the mattress pad to go with it. And if you're doubting Thomas, I encourage it. I'm not fearful of doubting Thomas's. I offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. That gives people peace of mind knowing that their doubts will be backed up by my 90-day money-back guarantee. I do that to give people peace of mind so they can go ahead and place the order with confidence, knowing that John Moore personally stands behind this device and that they will get relief. If you've got arthritis pain, joint pain, back pain, everybody gets either some or complete relief. Arthritis pain can be very severe. Now, with the really incredibly severe cases, it's usually at least partial relief with the very severe arthritis pain. But that's better than no relief at all, isn't it, Tom?
It truly is. And in many cases, somebody with some severe arthritic pain, they will, in some cases, they will get total relief. Sometimes the best that could be expected is a reduction in the amount of pain medication they're taking. So they'll get some help no matter what. But sometimes you just cannot totally get away from that pharmaceutical product. You have to continue to use it. But the good part is the energy cleaner can assist with reducing the dosage. You have to work with your medical professional on that, but they can many times reduce that dosage, and that's a good thing. Your liver and kidneys don't have to deal with cleaning up the debris from that medication, so that's good.
Absolutely, it is. I also, once again, to make this as easy as possible, besides ordering it at my website, you can also send me a check. My address is at my website, or you can call my toll-free order line 24 hours a day, 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. And get your life back. We have some very serious things on the horizon, geopolitical matters here in this country. The war drums are beating, quite frankly, war drums for civil war. If you're in a crisis, whether short-term or long-term, you're going to need all the energy that you can get. And getting sleep will become a very, very precious commodity. Sleep is always precious on one hand. On the other, during a crisis, you'll find difficulty getting 8 hours straight time where you can sleep. You may pick up 3 or 4 here, another 4 or 5 someplace else. If you got the energy cleaner, those precious moments when you can sleep will be a lot more productive, won't they, Tom?
It really will be, John. And of course, in a stressful situation like war, and anything like that is going to be very stressful. The energy cleaner can help with that, get you better sleep, relieve some of those stress conditions. And the best part is it's portable and steady operating all the time, round the clock, so you don't have to worry about fumbling with any switches or controls or dials. You don't have to worry if you've got it set right or not. If the pad is plugged into it, it's operating, and it's operating properly, and you can take advantage of that healing signal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we talk about energy cleaner procrastinators. We sometimes make fun of them. I've poked fun at Tim Spencer for his procrastination for a week or 10 days when I presented him with an energy cleaner so many years ago, and he regrets that to this day. That was a 1 week less of getting his life back that he lost, and once it's gone, it's gone. So what we see time and time again, Tom, is people who procrastinate for a month or 2 months, maybe several months, up to a year is not uncommon. And then something happens, like with Steve Whitman, for example. He was aware of the energy cleaner. He had previous back injuries that were still bugging him. And he hurt himself again. And his buddy said, why don't you get one of Moore's energy cleaners? It can't hurt. So Steve got it, and he started getting relief to the point where he was lifting weights, which he had not done in more than 20 years. And then a few weeks after that, the energy cleaner helping him get to where he was more agile and more flexible and stronger, helped him avoid being shot to death. He took 3 hits from a .45 caliber pistol. If he had not had the agility and strength to leap off that tractor, there would have been a 4th and final kill shot. And he gives the energy cleaner full credit for doing that. So don't wait. Don't procrastinate. You need to get your life back, right, Tom?
That's right, John. And it's easy to do. The energy cleaner is portable and inexpensive, and it's I think anybody can scrape the money together to get one of these. We worked very hard to get the price down to an affordable level for everybody, and it's been at that price for nearly 20 years now.
Well, originally these were hand-built one at a time, $3,000 a piece. I've had any number of people buy energy cleaners. They had to save up their money for 2 or 3 months before they had enough funds to get the energy cleaner, and maybe save another month or 2 to get the money to buy the mattress pad. But once they get it, they are so happy and so satisfied and so relieved to be in the process of getting their life back. Typically, people start feeling relief anywhere from an hour or 2 to 3 days. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but relief begins rather quickly, doesn't it?
It does, John. And we've done seminars where people will bring a friend that's got some arthritic issues or other pain issues, and they arrived in a wheelchair. I remember the one seminar woman arrived in a wheelchair, but she was able to actually push the wheelchair out herself. And she came with, she was very skeptical, but some of her friends asked her to come and try this out. So she did, and she's been very happy about it ever since. And that's been at least 15 or 16 years ago. It's been a long time. And she continues, as a matter of fact, has bought another energy cleaner since then. And her report to me was that it's working great, and she's still having really good results with it all these years. So she's very happy about that. But sometimes the results can happen in half hour, 45 minutes. Usually it's overnight to start noticing things, or several days. Some people it takes several months. But, John, with a 90-day money-back guarantee that you offer, that's plenty of time for anybody to figure out if this is going to work for them. And in most cases, it does make some positive changes in their life. So it's worth a try.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hold that thought, Tom. We got a break. Call numbers 800-313-9443. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 8th of August. It is August. It'll be Election Day in 14 months. That will be here before you know it. Time to get your energy cleaner is now. Everything works. The internet works. PayPal works. Point, click. I get the order. I box it up. I take it to the little country post office at Cherryville, Missouri, where tomorrow evening you can get an all-you-can-eat catfish buffet for $8 with sides. And it goes out to you, USPS, priority mail, signature confirmation. And typically, here in the lower 48, you get it in 2 to 3 days. So do it now while we have what appears to be the luxury of time. Tom, our luxury of time might be a complete illusion, couldn't it?
Could be, John. Like you said, the drums of war, they're beating, and who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So we just have to pay attention to what's going on all around us. If you have an energy cleaner, don't worry about it. Put the batteries in. It's a rugged device. You can take it with you as a carrying handle. You plug the pad in. It works wherever you are. It runs on around the clock on battery power, and it'll go for a year or more. But it's a good idea to check those batteries once a year to make sure there's no leakage. Otherwise, it's ready to go, and it will help really be a great thing to have during these stressful situations. So there you go.
It is, and I'm talking firsthand when I talk about sleep deprivation in combat, because I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and it's sleep deprivation will basically become the most important thing in your life. You will do whatever you can to get 15 or 30 minutes of sleep here and there. The energy cleaner will help tremendously. Plus, there's a bonus. You'll be growing your own food, and the energy cleaner will help the fruits and vegetables grow larger and better more quickly. Won't they, Tom?
Oh, John, it really does increase the growth rate of plants. So if you are getting seedlings ready during trying times such as war, it would be really a great thing to have an energy cleaner connected to your garden. Greenhouse, if you're getting seedlings ready, it will really assist with getting those seedlings out of the ground and sprouting quickly so you can get them into the garden or the greenhouse. So whatever you're doing, it will help and make a huge difference in the production of vegetables, which should be a really valuable thing in your community.
Absolutely. It's just a win-win situation all around. And the complete package of energy cleaner and a mattress pad to go with it you're looking less than $500. And I can't hardly buy 2 tires for my Lincoln Town Car for $500. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money anymore, is it?
No, it's not, and that's really a low cost, and we've held that price for years now, and intend to do that into the future if we can. So it's really a low cost for your health to get your plants going, and for your garden. Anytime there's stressful situations such as wartime, and I know we talk about that often, John, but it's hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does,
thank
that
you,
energy
sir.
cleaner.
Thank you. We'll have you back on tomorrow morning, talk about emergency communications. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 8th day of August. We are patiently waiting agreeing with my friend Steve Hunt. Steve is the financial advisor for the John Moore Radio Show. We're going to talk about the state of our economy, geopolitical matters, how that relates to each and every one of us, and the decisions made at the kitchen table for our family finances. If you want to contact Steve, just go to my website at libertyman.com. You'll see what looks like a nice red Christmas gift box at the top of my home page, a red box with a gold ribbon on it. Just click on that, and you've got Steve's telephone number. You've got a way to sign up to get the excellent books he's offering, The Secret War on Cash, and The War Against Economic Freedom. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, sir.
Well, everything seems to be heating up and moving and fast forward. For example, with the back and forth between us and China, we make one move, the Chinese make a counter move, and it will probably not have a good end, will it?
I don't think it's going to, especially as much as they're manipulating their money right now.
Well, they are, and so their counter move to our trade tariffs was to reduce the value of their currency, which largely negated the tariffs, didn't it?
It sure does. It puts them back in the advantage. And then Trump came out the very next day and said that we need to either match them or sit here and be the dummies that we've been for the past years.
Right. Well, there's a historical perspective on this where trade wars have led to shooting wars, aren't there?
You know, it's funny that you say that. There was a graph. Grab it real quick. There was a thing that came out on CNBC. They put this thing out. It says here, what can a financial crisis lead to? And it's the 5 steps. And the first step is a trade imbalance. Starts with living beyond means, taking debt. Wages become distorted. The next step is a financial crisis, where they say debt levels reach a tipping point. Financial system suddenly and dramatically destabilizes. The third step is a currency war. Politicians seek to cheat economic laws. Government print money to pay debts, devalue their currency. The fourth step is a trade war, as they work to steal trade from each other's governments, enact tariffs, taxes, subsidies, global trade plunges. And then the final step is a hot war. And I think that's, we're in between step 4 and step 5 right now. Right.
Well, there's another perspective that has no precedence within recent recorded history, and that's the violent climate change that governments know is coming. Our government, the Chinese government, all the governments, Zimbabwe may even know, as if they care or could do anything about it. But the paper I wrote a number of years ago, No Need for Panic, makes mention of if you know there's no consequences in the traditional sense of the word, why not, and it's talking about a government here, why not spend money like a drunk sailor? Because the normal consequences no longer matter. That could easily be part of it also, couldn't it, Steve?
Well, yeah, if you know that the money system is not going to last forever and everything's going to fall apart in the end anyways, and they have to make a new dollar system, or potentially there is no end to it in sight, why not? You just keep spending. Right. I mean, if you or I had a bank account that had said, don't worry about the balance, here's your card, just go spend freely and have fun, enjoy life, that's what we would do.
Right, it's like a Saudi Arabian 22-year-old prince in an American university with his father's American Express gold card. Have fun,
exactly.
Son, with those infidel women. We got a caller on hold here. We got John in Tennessee. Good morning, John.
morning, John. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
I've got a question for you. I know in 2011, China held between 9 and 10% of the American debt at $1.3 trillion. So the question is, as of today, do you have any idea how much of our debt we're carrying? And trust me, I'm not sympathetic with the economic system of America or China. But why is it any different for China to devalue their currency? Why is it any worse than what America's doing to ours? I don't understand. How much of our debt do they owe? Do they own?
Well, I am not positive the amount of debt that they own. I don't think that's even public knowledge.
Sure it is.
Well, I know they have it. If you think the government tells you the full truth of how much everybody owns and everything, then you can tell me where to find that. I don't know where that's at. But
well, we're talking T-bill, Treasury notes and Treasury bonds, aren't we, here, gentlemen?
Well, we're talking.
I mean, they have $1.1 trillion, and that's if we're talking about just the bonds. They own $1.1 trillion in Treasury bonds. I mean, that's one thing. But what else they own in debt? They own. I've heard from several different sources that they have deeds to land here in the United States that they've taken as collateral because we owe them debt outside of that. I mean, there's more, I think, to the story than we know.
And I agree with you. Okay, but again, why is it worse? And again, I'm not sympathetic with China. Why is it any worse for China to do to their currency what we have done to ours since 1913?
Well, I'm not blaming them at all. They have every right to look after their people, just like Trump has every right to look after the Americans. So I'm not saying that what they're doing is any worse than what we've done. I mean, if you look at our dollar is devalued 300% in 15 years. So I'm not saying that they're doing anything worse than us. It's just it's become a game now that of trade. And Trump's the first president that doesn't want to sit by and say, you guys keep dropping your dollar. We have to give you more goods for your dollar while you guys sit back. But keep in mind, this is a bigger game than even that, because 2 years ago, China just got included into the world reserve. So they backed their currency by a small position of gold. So now they have this inclusion into the world reserve basket. And while they drop their currency, it affects everybody. I mean, that slice of the pie that they own that affects the world basket of values of currencies, as their value is going down in that basket, it's everybody else's is going down too then.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that you were saying that they were any worse than us, but I've heard President Trump say they're devaluing their currency, Well, they're enslaving their people worse than they're already enslaved when they do that. So as a result, we're going deeper into debt, and we're borrowing money from the labor of our great-great-great-great-grandchildren. We've got a debt that we need to just really repudiate, walk away from. If Congress has the authority to value gold, to set the value thereof, and make an ounce of gold worth, a couple $100 billion, pay off your debt. Even if you paid down the debt that we owe, you're never out of debt because you didn't create the money. You're going to always own the interest. And the American people can't comprehend that. What I'm saying and what you know to be true to the majority of Americans is crazy talk. What do you mean it's not worth anything? It's legalized counterfeiting is all it is. And it's not even, it's lawful servitude currency. We're working for the company's store, and the more we make, the deeper in debt we go, just like that old song. We're never getting out of it. So why not just say, hey, we're doing away with it? Repudiate.
I agree, and I think that's something that we've talked about actually on the show. I've heard a lot of rumors about that they're saying that part of the agenda here is to it's kind of like the Cloward and Piven strategy. I don't know if you've ever heard about that. Cloward and Piven had this
good
strategy.
Cop, bad cop. China and America and the other banks, they're on the same page, man. It's good cop, bad cop. I'm your friend. No, I'm your friend. No, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's all.
Well, meanwhile, the central bank is buying up more gold than anybody because they know what's going to happen. So
I actually got a call. I got a call from USPS 9 years ago. Get your gold out of our depository because the United States is going to move it without telling you. Okay? Yeah. So Shanghai Bank of China, or whatever the heck it stands for, Banking Corporation, told me to get my gold out of the depository to take possession because the United States was going to move it to a depository in D.C. without my knowledge. So, again, are they buying gold? Or are they stealing gold? They've already stole all the gold, and they're buying it with promissory notes and digital point-of-sale transactions. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, it's funny you even say that. I got a letter here from one of my clients who lives in Portland, Oregon, and I don't know if you heard of Key Bank, but they got a note here from Key Bank that says that you can no longer store gold bullion or non-collectible domestic or foreign currency in your box, and that they have the right to search and seizure of their box and take any of those contents if they're in there. So, for whatever reason, Key Bank is starting to alert their customers that they can no longer have gold inside their accounts or foreign currency. Meanwhile, you got companies like J.P. Morgan that are putting on their own website saying it's time that we move you into foreign currency and gold. So there's a lot of manipulation about to happen.
So we're watching the Hegelian dialectic in action to bring about an intentional collapse, not of just this country, but the worldwide economy, because there's people in foreign countries that are invested in gold, you know, that are holding gold in other nations in this country. So they've got it all. They took it all, and now they're going to buy it, quote, buy it with non-existent currency, money, whatever you want to call it, Bitcoin. You know, I mean, think about people investing in a digital currency that's safe. It's like saying, okay, then, you know, lots of luck getting your hands on it. You know, you're going to play with tiddlywinks and call it money.
I've heard rumors of Bitcoin being something here that, you know, governments look into, but I don't see how on earth they ever get that passed. I mean, it's worse than the U.S. dollar. I mean, you don't ever hold on to it.
How is it any better? If I said, look,
it's not.
Starting a new currency called Strike Anywhere matches, and for $50 I can give you a box of 50 Strike Anywhere matches, and that's crazy. But if I give you a digital something or other called a Bitcoin, that's any better than cotton balls?
There's no way. I mean, there's just no way that it comes out. This is, you know, I've heard rumblings of that, but, you know, I've even heard the Russian government say that they like, you know, using Bitcoins or you know, digital currency, but I just don't think there's ever going to be traction for it unless they find some way to tie it to the price of gold. There's no way that, you know, you can use it. It would never work.
Well, if they tie it to the price of gold, it's nothing more than a digital currency, which is still phony, funny money. I've said for years, it's like all the guys playing poker at my kitchen table, all the people in my town with money, in the world with money, and the game's over. Well, see you next week, boys. Game's still on for Friday night. Well, we've ruined the currency. What are we going to play with? Well, how about human souls? We played with everything else, so let's just play with people, and we'll trade souls. We'll trade the lives of men and the minds of men and the health of men and make them pay for it. We're too ignorant, not stupid. We're too ignorant to see what's being done. There's a difference between stupidity and ignorance. Ignorance, you don't have the knowledge. Stupid is you know and you still do it. Don't be stupid. Thank you both.
Yep.
Okay. John, thank you for the call. Segue here. I would like to see more attention to what appears to be a verifiable fact, that the national debt and the money the Pentagon cannot account for are basically the same. That's very disturbing and very alarming to me. How about you, Steve?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many secrets about, you know, where this money is, and they, you know, but it's kind of disappeared right now. No one's even talking about it anymore.
a friend of mine, he was working for the Department of Defense doing IT work, and he uncovered some corruption, some mishandling of funds. It was not massive, not into the billions of dollars, but into millions of dollars. And his thank you for uncovering this corruption and missing money was to be terminated from his position. There's people that don't want that uncovered and exposed. Correct, Steve?
Oh, of course. I mean, there's a lot, like, kind of like we just said, that there's so much behind the scenes that we don't know about that's going on, and they don't want their secrets to come out. They just don't. And some of this is kind of like misdirection. That they give you enough attention over here, you're not looking in one place. So everybody's kind of need to take the blinders off and look at the whole scenario. I mean, no one's even talking about the 10-year yield went down dramatically the other morning. I mean, if you're looking to finance a home, which I wouldn't do because I think homes are about to take a dip, now's a great time. You're going to have one of the lowest rates you're ever going to find, and no one's talking about that. I mean, everything is falling apart, and it's falling apart everywhere. And it's such a big picture that no one's paying attention. Gold's up, in 9 weeks, John, gold is up $200.
That's
the
phenomenal.
Last bull run that it is the last bull run that we had in this market. For gold to move $900, it took 4 years before you get the $200 increase. 4 years, that's crazy to see it in 9 weeks. Everybody needs to open their eyes. It's very alarming. I actually had one of your clients, or not one of your clients, your listeners, call in on Monday, and they were wanting to sell their metal. They asked if they could sell it to me, and I said sure. And they bought it from somebody. They were so excited that gold was going up, but the problem is they bought it from some scam artist in Texas, and they bought it a couple of years ago, and gold's up dramatically in those 2 years, and they're not even close to breaking even. I mean, they bought some stuff that this guy sold them some stuff that was glorified bullion coins that he told them were super rare, and they just stole their money. And it's, everybody right now, you're going to see, this is my biggest warning I can give to everybody. You're going to see the dollar crashing. You're going to wonder, what should I do? You're going to look at all these companies, and you're going to try and find a place to put your money for a safe haven. You see these companies on TV that are advertising nonstop. Okay, don't just call one place. Call multiple. And if you want, call me. Even if you don't want to buy anything, and you've already decided who you're going to go through, and I'll give you an honest opinion. Because if you throw a bunch of money,
hold that thought, Steve. We got a break. Hold that thought. We got a break. We'll be right back.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 8th of August. If you want to contact Steve, just give him a call. Here's his telephone number, 800-630-1491. I say again, 800-630-1491. Steve, people are probably wondering, how can I get bank-level security for my gold and silver without having it in a bank? Is that something you can help people with?
You know, I was just, if you own your home, I would get a safe and put it in your own house. That's just me. I believe it's better on your, on your property. Bury it and put it in the backyard. Put it underneath your bed. Whatever it is you got to do. I don't like having it, in a bank or a vault. There are vaults that you can put it into. Delaware Depository, Brinks facilities in New York and Utah. Those are probably the three most secure places in the United States. But at the same time, if there is a collapse or there is some type of weird disaster that happens, you don't want to have to try and travel to get your insurance.
Right.
I mean, that's what this is. So, try and have it at home.
The things with a safe, first of all, your homeowner, I've already looked into this. Getting insurance on the coins is not going to happen. The insurance company will want one-third the value of the metal per year, which means over a period of 3 years you would pay premiums equal to the value of the metal. So that's a non-starter. You want a safe that has a manual mechanism, not electronic. If it has electronic, be sure it has a manual override. EMP would knock out the electronics and you wouldn't be able to get to your metal. And privacy. I would have the safe delivered midday on a weekday, say around 10 a.m., between 10 and 2 p.m., when there's the fewest people around. And if you got a garage, have it dropped off right inside the garage, so it's not obvious what's being delivered. If it's a large safe, obviously if it's small, it's not really a big deal. And, of course, the house itself needs the best security with a monitored alarm system, good quality solid core or steel doors on the exterior doors, and, of course, lights at night, and just a video system. Most modern security systems have video also. You want all these things, don't you, Steve?
You do, and the one last thing I want to add to that, what you just said, don't go tell people that you're buying gold. Don't tell anybody that, oh, well, I'm protected, I did this or I did that, because I've had so many clients over the years that have lost their metal because someone has tried to break in or stole their safe or whatever it is. You don't need to tell anybody that. Then they go and tell their kids when they're at dinner. That kid says, oh, guess what? I know this person has gold.
Right.
Just keep it to yourself.
Exactly. So you may think it's okay to tell this person, but you don't know who that person is going to talk to. You simply don't. And that's just not wise. Well, Steve, we're just about out of time here. I want the publications that you have available. When people contact you, you will mail them out to them, won't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll mail you the physical packets. I can email you packets, whatever you want.
Right. Well, some people want ink on paper, others want it electronically, and you can take care of both needs, can't you?
Sure can.
Absolutely. And you're down there in beautiful, sunny Arizona. And what are your hours of operation?
I am here at a minimum of 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
And that's Mountain Time, correct?
Correct. Right now,
okay.
It's only 7:27.
Oh, well, then that's Pacific Time.
Yeah, we change half the year because we don't have daylight savings time. So we'll be on this until October.
Okay, so you're on Pacific time until October. Regardless, and even if you're not there, you'll have voicemail. Take a message, won't you?
Sure will.
Absolutely. Well, this is the way to get started, ladies and gentlemen. Educate yourself. Talk to Steve. He will help you gain the clarity and focus that you need to determine what you need to be doing to meet your specific needs. It's not a one-size-fits-all program, is it, Steve?
That's you couldn't have said that any better. It just isn't. Everybody has their own agendas. Whether you're looking for privacy, you don't want reportable, you don't want to lose your metal to confiscation if it were to happen, or you want it in a retirement account. Everybody has a different scenario, so make sure we do it the right way.
Absolutely. And once again, Steve's phone number is 800-630-1491. I say again, 800-630-1491. And just get started. We don't know how much time we've got. I keep repeating myself. We have what appears to be the luxury of time. That may be a complete illusion. That could go away, and when it's gone, it's gone. In the meantime, take advantage of the time we've got. Correct, Steve?
Absolutely. You can't sit there and wait till the last second and then try and get your dollars once they devalued into this. You're not going to get anything back for it. You've got to be proactive. You've got to do it ahead of time.
That's right. It's got to be done ahead of time. It's not optional, and people need to be aware of that. Act on it now. I cannot emphasize that too much. Act on it now, and get started. Once you get started, it takes on a life of its own, doesn't it, Steve?
Well, it sure does. I mean, that's all you need is one step in the door, and you're off to the races. I mean, this thing is moving faster than it ever has in history.
Absolutely. Steve, thank you, sir. We'll have you back next Thursday.
Look forward to it.
Bottom of the hour break. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the energy cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get to get an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an energy cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday. It is Thursday, and we're starting the second week of August already. How about that? Well, we talked about the energy cleaner for about 20 minutes or so last hour. You heard that. You're thinking about it. You're wondering, would that help me? Well, it will. I guarantee it will. I give you a 90-day money-back guarantee. The energy cleaner will help you. So ponder it. Think about it. Consider it. Make your decision. Place your order. And I will get everything boxed up and mailed to you in United States Postal Service priority mail signature confirmation just as quickly as I can. Keep in mind a 90-day money-back guarantee, like I said a moment ago. And I have, of course, I have a toll-free order line 24 hours a day, 800-592-9543. This whole topic of barter items is interesting. James Wesley Rawls, one of my favorite authors, by the way, he's written extensively about barter items. majority of which are really everyday things that are easily available at your local dollar store, Walmart, variety store, whatever, supermarket. Things that typically barter items have indefinite shelf life. We're not talking about food here, obviously. That people need, people want, make their lives easier. And they will trade what they've got to gain access to what you've got. That's what barter is. That's how a lot of business was conducted, and still is conducted in different places of the world on a daily basis. We now have these other mediums of exchange, of course, folding dollars, and of course debit cards and credit cards and checks and all these different mediums of exchange. But things get back to basics real quick during a crisis, real quick, where people will exchange what they have for what you've got, hopefully in a fair exchange, value given for value gotten, and that's a good thing. Commerce is what what holds this planet together, is daily commerce. It may be a barge load of corn, or it might be a box of matches. A strike anywhere matches, by the way, would have a lot of value. You may have to do a little homework to find the strike anywhere matches. Most matches sold now can only be struck on the special compound that's on the striking surface of the box or the matchbook. But strike anywhere matches would have more value in a crisis than the traditional matches that can only be struck on that special gritty compound that's on the matchbook cover or the matchbox cover. Cigarette lighters? Oh yes, absolutely, a lot of value there. I buy mine in case lots. I get 50 of them for not a whole lot of money, and you can also. No reason why not. You can also. It can be fun. It can be not. It doesn't have to be terribly expensive. You can get carried away with anything, of course. But the time to get started is now. I use the term peace of mind frequently for a reason. That's because it's so important. I drive out the driveway. I know my automobile insurance is in effect. That gives me peace of mind, knowing that two things: I'm in compliance with the law, and if there's an accident, I'm covered. Now that's peace of mind. I know when I drive out the driveway that I've got a properly inflated spare tire in the back of the automobile. Once again, peace of mind. The last time I was running for Congress. Last time I had a flat tire with one of my Michelins. I was going westbound on 44, and here comes a brake drum rolling across the highway. I don't know how that happened, but it's rolling. It's a 4-lane interstate highway. And I'm thinking, well, I got to miss this thing. Well, I missed it with both front tires, but it got one of the rear wheels, rear tires. A catastrophic tire failure. The air was instantly gone. And I was running for Congress, like I said. I had on a coat and tie, and I managed to change the tire without damaging my dress shirt, and was on my way. That was 1996. Was that 23 years ago? But I had the properly inflated spare. I had the necessary tools to change that tire on the side of the road, and I did it. But peace of mind is a good thing, and it will become a lot. These are things right now during normal times we take for granted. I don't think twice about my automobile insurance. I know it's in effect, and when it's due again, that my insurance agent will contact me and let me know that it's time to pay for my insurance policy. But in difficult times, you'll be hungry, probably. Gaining access to potable water might be an issue for you. If it is, it'll be the biggest issue, the quickest. Most Americans, most of the time, could miss quite a few meals and quite frankly, be healthier because of it. But Potable water is not optional. It doesn't matter how thin you are or how heavy you are. Potable water is not optional. If you do not have your Berkey water filter or some similar high-quality gravity-feed water filter, you need to get it. You need to get it now. Now, if the water is really questionable, you need a couple of thousand paper coffee filters. T-shirts will work too. I think the paper water filters filter down to a smaller micron than the T-shirts will. But you want to pre-filter the water before it goes into the Berkey water filter. And that would be a real smart thing. In fact, if the water is really, really dirty, you may want to let it settle in a 5-gallon bucket first and let the heavy particulate settle out, and filter it initially through a T-shirt, and then do a final filtration through the paper coffee filter before it even goes in the Berkey. You want to keep that Berkey in excellent condition and not have it contaminated with a bunch of heavy particulate from unclean water. But right now, if you place an order for a Berkey water filter, I'll get that order. I'll call the distributor. They will ship it to you. Typically the next day. Sometimes they get behind, and it might be a little bit longer. If you're really concerned about getting your Berkey, that 1 week wait might be a very long week for you if you have a concern about a crisis that could happen quickly. But once you get it, you'll get some peace of mind knowing that you've got your good quality Berkey water filter. I know I'm looking at getting a couple, 2, 3 more, because the group I work with, we're looking at having maybe 20 to 30 people here within 14 months. And the one Berkey I've got is not even close to meeting those needs. We would need probably 4 of the really big Berkeys to accommodate all these people's potable water needs. Yeah, we've got a well, we've got a spring. I would not drink this spring water because it's an open source without having it properly filtered and treated first. That's our backup water supply, is the spring. It puts out 1 million gallons a day, by the way. The well water's fine. I filter it anyway as a matter of habit, but I drink quite a bit of it unfiltered. It's okay. But you need backups on the backups. Redundancy is a really good thing. As John Wesley, I don't know if John Wesley Rawls came up with this saying, but I repeat this saying frequently: 1 is none, and 2 is 1. Now, with really large, expensive items like a 10 kW generator, which I've got here, propane fired, I'm probably not going to get a second one anytime soon. It's just, first of all, extremely dependable, and it's also pretty pricey and pretty expensive. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I got other backups for electricity. I can make electricity with hydropower. I've got several small gasoline generators that don't put out nearly what the big Generac does, but it puts out some electricity. So it's something always to keep in mind is redundancy and having backups and having sometimes backups on the backups. As I mentioned earlier, for storing the tobacco products, you use the vacuum sealers. Seal a Meal, I think, is one of the brands that you can get at your local discount store. The failure rate I've experienced personally is about 5% of the bags fail, and the seal is compromised. So with things that have more value, I will put it, seal it in one bag, and then seal that bag inside a second one. If it's really valuable, I'll even do a third bag, and that reduces the failure rate to less than 1%. Would I do a fourth bag? I might consider that if I needed to. I haven't really gone there yet, but certainly an option as well. And tobacco products will have extreme value. If you watch films from World War II and films from prisons, you'll see tobacco being used as money, as a medium of exchange. That That's the value that men and women give tobacco products. One cigarette, in fact, one of those tragedies where a man died in police custody in New York City. He was selling cigarettes on the street in New York City, one cigarette at a time, when he was arrested and handcuffed and unfortunately died in police custody. It was called racism, but it was more a matter of ignorance, I believe. Don't want to dwell on that. You need to make sure your barter items are in a safe, secure location, and ideally, for most of these barter items, 50% humidity. The temperature is not above 75 or 80 at the most. You might want cooler temperatures for some of these items. And so no extreme cold would be an issue for some of these items and not for others. Extreme heat would be an issue for many items and not for others. Rust is an issue for metal items, except for stainless steel, obviously. Insects, well, it depends on what it is. Mice can do a lot of damage. I just ran across a field phone canvas bag, World War II issue, Vietnam issue, that mice had completely destroyed. And it's just a reminder for me when I ran across that they were making the inside of that bag home sweet home. It was a mouse den. It just reminded me of the value of having mouse bait and glue traps everywhere. We got a caller on hold here, Jerry in Texas. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, John. I hope you can hear me. I've got speakerphone problems. But one thing that is always should be a good barter item is hand and garden tools like shovels and hoes and rakes. Some of these estate sales you can go to, they've got shovels and tools like that. Handles may be missing. You can pick those things up sometimes for 50 cents, $1. Go to the hardware store and get you a good handle. And usually the quality of the metal and whatever is much more superior than what you can buy in a lot of places. Even your, True Values and Ace Hardwares and whatever.
Well, but, you're right. At an estate sale, a lot of times, because these auctioneers, they like to move things along, so they may have all of the garden tools in a lot. So there'd be several hoes, several rakes, several shovels, and you would bid on the whole lot, and you might bid $10 and get 10 of those implements very easily, couldn't you?
Right. Hammers, hand saws, and y'all mentioned bracing bits earlier. All those things, younger folks don't even know what those items are lots of times, but the original cordless tools, as was mentioned. But keep your eyes out. Even another good investment could possibly be a few spare handles for shovels and rakes, this sort of thing. Just go ahead and you're going to break one, so you may need a spare one somewhere, and be good to be able to replace it without having.
Well, if you're talking about saving money, a new handle from the hardware store would probably buy 3 or 4 antique handles at a sale. The complete shovel with the complete rake, and not just the handle.
This is true.
Yeah.
But you're still going to need a replacement handle every once in a while.
Right. I've done that. I've replaced many handles on many axes and sledgehammers and hammers, and that's typically a wintertime project for me, is to replace the handle and put the wedge in there, and then put some melted wax on top to seal it off real nice, and then of course I finish off the metal and polish it up, and maybe even give it a coat of paint to really make it look good.
Exactly. Okay, I've got to get busy. I just took a break. I was listening to that, and it's amazing that estate sales, what you can pick up for a little bit of nothing, and sometimes you can say, hey, I'll buy this for this much if you'll throw this in there, and maybe a hammer with no handle in it, you know. But
right. Right.
They, like I say, they want to clear it out. So
Right.
y'all
They do.
have a good day. Stay hydrated. It's going to be in the triple digits again today down here. So.
Well, God bless you. Hang in there, Jerry.
All right. Thank you
All right.
for taking my call.
Okay. These auctions, in the modern age, you don't necessarily have to be there in person. Most of these auctioneers have websites. Frequently, the website will have photographs, sometimes video, of the items being auctioned, and you can place a bid either online or with a telephone call for items. And of course, the old caveat, buyer beware. Of course, you need to beware on one hand. On the other, it may be a way to get, for example, a Maytag ringer washer or something else that's equally valuable to you and has little value to anybody else. Here's a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 8th day of August. We're not going to take any more calls this hour. Wouldn't do justice to anything very detailed, of course. On my website, when you scroll down the left side, they've got these rows of three boxes, lines of three boxes. The very bottom thing, it says embedded videos that you may find informative and or entertaining. When you click on that, I just did this because I haven't done it since Tim got this all put together. First thing, of course, is my wife's memorial service, which it looks like it may not be available at the moment. And then we've got an article I wrote about firearms. Title of it is Chasing Technology, Emotions versus Logic. This is my take on the controversy going on regarding these firearms. And we have a short video there. It's the initial 20 seconds or so, 30 seconds of the wildly popular TV show from the 1950s, early 60s called The Rifleman with Chuck Connors. And Chuck, he shoots this lever-action rifle. I think it's 12 times in 4 seconds. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. We've got a video about the USS Liberty there. We got a speech given by Roy Benavides, a Special Forces Medal of Honor winner in Vietnam. I got to meet Roy at a luncheon. A great guy. He's now deceased. A variety show that John Wayne sponsored in 1970 with quite a collection of extremely popular stars back then. And we have a video about refugees coming into this country, and some with, some without communicable diseases, being immediately issued a Social Security card, which is, once you've got that, you can get everything else for documentation. Very disturbing video. It's been there for quite a while. A video exposing John McCain and who he really was. Then something funny. I was hoping that BBC would make it into a kind of a miniseries or something, but they didn't. It's titled The Real Housewives of ISIS. It's a hoot. If it upsets Muslims, it's a big, to me, so what? But it's really funny, and if you want a good laugh, there we go. A couple others there that might find interesting as well. But there's a lot at my website, a lot there. And everything there is carefully chosen, very carefully picked out. We don't just haphazardly put things on my website. Of course, the announcement for our Caribbean cruise. If you can join us, I'm going to hope to find out soon if Sam Andrews and his wife can join us. Leon Green will be with us. We'll be leaving Port Canaveral on Saturday, the 9th day of February, on the Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Seas. These are the largest cruise ships that there are. They're just phenomenal, these cruise ships. And it'll be a lot of fun. And that's it for the day. Get your medical supplies, your energy, cleaning, your essential oils now while you can, your firearms and ammunition. Never, ever give up your guns. Please have a fun, safe, productive day. God bless America.